Hey YouTube, Mochismo Eugene, another video from Exit Strategy. Welcome. Got a few minutes. I'm waiting on my son to pick him up from school, and I figured I want to talk to you guys about something that I always say you probably already are aware of this, but you're just either numb to it because of the abuse a narcissist took you through, or you've dumbed it down because of what the societal norms are. The go along to get along mentality. And that thing that I'm going to discuss with you guys is that after narcissistic abuse, whether it's a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, doesn't matter the length of time you've been out of the narcissistic abusive relationship. What really does matter and what's pertinent to how you are going to accept all things present and going forward is the level of awakening and the level of being in tune. Because just being awakened, you still have to exercise the intuition that you had prior to narcissistic abuse. Only difference is now you don't talk yourself out of what your intuition tells you. And I say that a lot, but it gets to be a broken record, and I don't mind, because this has to resonate with you on a regular, on a daily, on a hourly, weekly. It has to be a constant awareness of what your intuition is telling you is exactly what is going on, contrary to popular belief. So what will be undeniable to the level of your awakening and your awareness and your intuitiveness is that you are going to undoubtedly, not even up for discussion, you're going to be so much okay with not only where you are, but the fact that who's not around. You're going to be okay with no one, as well as being around other people. And that's not seclusion. That is not so much always isolation deliberately on your part. What I'm saying is you're going to become so at one with the peace within you till you will be okay with peace around you, meaning where there's no one, nothing going on specifically that most people in society think they need to be doing. You're essentially going to find your peace wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Your peace is going to follow you. Your peace is going to comfort you. Your peace is going to just be all around you. But the other part of that is, even when you're in your isolation and that peace that surrounds you, when you do go out and about, that intuition and your awakening is going to be so sharp till it's going to be a blessing and a curse at the same time. You're going to see, hear, observe, and even maybe even sometimes take part in associations and groupings that are going to a lot of times nauseate you, make you kind of disgusted and sick to your stomach. And this is not in a way as to your passing judgment on anyone. You're just going to be able to determine and judge, make a judgment call on what is happening in that moment. You're not going to ever second guess yourself based on this newfound awareness. I was kind of sidetracked. Looked like a little kid was about to get ran over. Thank God she didn't. These kids, they'll walk across the street. They never look to see if traffic is coming. If any of you guys experiencing this out and about in society, and not only just the young youth, this generation, but there are adults that are very much, they're going about their business, not even paying attention. Leave it in the comment. It's a weird atmosphere right right now in the world. And I don't care where you're living at. I guess us empaths, we pay more attention to things that the average human being. That is the reason why we're here, rather than still being in an abusive relationship by the narcissist. We have to know something that most people wish they knew. It's undeniable. Even people that haven't experienced narcissistic abuse, you can't tell these people, and they might not even be narcissists themselves. They're actually codependents. They are in the matrix. There are people that have the mentality of, it's not my business. If it's not me, it doesn't matter. And so it hits different when they actually experience it. They're not going to be able to tell anybody about what they've been told by the way of empaths. And I was thinking the other day, not to really get off of that subject, but the point of that was just to let you guys know you're going to be okay being by yourself and at peace wherever you go. You're not going to even have any desire to actually be a part of the things that you once were a part of, meaning outings. You're gonna actually dictate your own schedule and way of doing things, because they're going to be so fluid, and it's going to be so contrary to what the world and most people at large in the way they're doing it. So it won't appeal to you. You won't have a strong desire to even want to be in like-minded situations, whether they're big or small. It could be something as simple as someone wanting to get together and go do XYZ. You will have no part of it, because you just don't roll that way. You don't move that way. You move totally different once you're awakened. And it actually makes people very much uneasy just being in your presence once you realize that, once they realize you're moving different. They can't figure it out, but they know you're moving different. But I was going to say, there is a time in my awakening. Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
I'm doing a video, but
All right.
there was a time in my awakening, I believe, and I remembered it the other day, and I was like, I'm going to share this. And it was, I will believe it was a cop, a law enforcement officer. This is when I first woke up, and I realized, and I had, investigated, looked up what narcissistic personality disorder was. I told the story. I Googled what makes a personality show true remorse, blah, blah, blah. So I went on to start talking. You start telling a few people, hey, I figured out what this girl is, and she took me through some, and blah, blah, blah. And they just, she crazy. And so, not knowing that you were supposed to be a lot more reserved, you don't supposed to run around telling and talking to people about this, because they'll deem you crazy. They'll look at you like you got 10 head, because they can't understand it, they can't relate to it. But I will always believe, looking back, there was someone I ran into, and I had said it to him, and he was a law enforcement officer, someone who I had befriended over the course of time when I was going through custody battles for 6-7 years. And this was 7 years ago. So essentially, I told him, I said, yeah, blah, 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 nonchalantly telling him what I had discovered. And this is what he said to me. I didn't think about it until the other day. All of these years that I've been awake, in 4 years, about 4 years, I didn't realize he said something to me, and it popped into my head the other day. He said this. He said, get by yourself and isolate. That was all he said to me. Get by yourself and isolate. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys, I now know that this guy may in fact have known, may have known exactly what I had just went through. And he was just trying to give me the short of it as best as he knew how. Because if someone just coming out of this has discovered what they were under, even at the infancy of getting this information, you're fresh out of into the awakening. A person who has already been out of this and has been wide awake for some time, I guess what I'm saying, so if I was to tell somebody that just awakened, many times the person who just came out of the narcissistic abusive relationship, they have the knowledge, but they don't have the mature stamina, and I'm using that as a word to describe where I believe I'm at now. They don't have the mature stamina or the wise stamina in order to both be reserved about what they know, working out their healing. They're fresh out of water. They won't understand when you say something like isolate, get to yourself and isolate, even if they've researched that from reading it. I don't believe so, because I didn't do that right way. He told me that, and if I had read it in a book, I don't think I would have embraced it right away. But I wanted to share that with you guys, because that guy shared that with me, and he said it in just a few words. He's like, yeah, get by yourself and isolate. Spend a lot of time by yourself. Oh, and he said, read scriptures and study scriptures. He did say that, and that was crazy the way I thought about that the other day, because by him saying, read scriptures, I guess he was essentially telling me you're going to need God. You're going to need prayer. This is something that you have never experienced. And wow, nothing could be more true. Nothing could be more truer. Gonna be some road rage. You're gonna catch them. You see, trying to catch up with them. You see that, right? That could end up in a shooting right there. Somebody cut this guy off. Like I was saying to you guys, I'm doing this video, guys, and it's crazy. Not even that I'm that hyper vigilant like that. Me and my son, we kind of observed this. There's a lot of fruitiness going on. And I don't know what you guys are doing as far as your children, man. I've said this before in videos. I ain't got really a lot of time in the streets to be monkeying around. I'm doing a lot of isolating, yet and still in a beautiful way. And I'm actually steadfastly, as best I can, keeping my kids on point as to what they have to will them. They have to will and determine themselves to be attuned to things that are happening around them. I just kind of encourage them not to be lax, because to be laxed in everything and anything that's happening around you, you shortchange yourself. But at the same time, I want them to be kids. I want them to just do all the things that kids tend to do within reason. And I'm raising them just with that extra bonus of insight and awakening that I have. And I encourage you guys to do the very same thing, because you can't just say, I'm going to wait till my kids get to be X, Y, Z ages before I just start a general conversation with them. You have to have a general conversation with your kids. And it has to be leaning way more towards spiritual matters, and obviously these demonic issues that you and I all know too well. But you have to talk about this. The school is not going to teach them this. You know, they'll be fine. Don't feel like you're going to traumatize your kids. That's too heavy. That's too much weight on them. You don't ever want to say, I wish I had told my kids more. I wish I had spoke more in detail about what I know. Because I tell my kids a lot, and this is not to sound dark. You know, we're not promised to be here every day, and one day I'm not here. They will have that much more knowledge at their disposal. So I don't want to ever sit back talking about, I wish I had it. I don't have any regrets. So I just want to be able to do what I can do as far as that goes. But that's what I want to share with you guys, man. When you coming out of this and you awaken, your peace, nothing like it. You don't desire to play in any reindeer games. You don't care if you're invited to any party. Matter of fact, my boy, he did a video about how people are going to distance themselves. So the trash is going to take itself out. So when people start not flocking around you, not following you any longer, don't be mad. Don't be disturbed. Don't be dismayed or confused. It'll make perfect sense to you, because the way you're moving now makes them move differently. You're dancing to your own music now, and that bothers them. That being said, bless.